Welcome to the Political Matrix News. Politics, people, local, regional, national news. Political Matrix News keeps you informed. We have the sources, we have the truth from inside the Political Matrix. Welcome back to the Political Matrix blogcast. Rob Milford out of Orlando. Tiffany, wave at everybody, Tiffany, and say hey. Up in Cherokee County, Georgia, normally found in California. I'm not sure if that's a red state where she is or the blue state. I keep waiting for California to split into multiple pieces. Mike Bates joining us from Pensacola, where you'll hear him on WPNN Radio. And Jonathan Cole out of Navarre, Florida. The beautiful, the gorgeous Panhandle beaches up there. And home in Santa Rosa County, one of the biggest Air Force bases in the world, Eglin Air Force Base, where they have all the cool stuff. Israel and Palestine in no particular order. We are, let's see, November, December, January. We're 4 months. Another week from now, it'll be 5 months they have been at war. What is going on? Why is there's no resolution for this, except now all the Houthis in Yemen, supplied by Iran, are shooting at everything that floats, including U.S. Navy ships, every merchant ship. And by the way, there is a Marine fighter pilot who has now a double ace, has shot down more than 10 enemy drones coming at U.S. shipping. I hope somebody makes him a legit hero, because that is a very tough shot to make, no matter what you're flying. Jonathan, pick it up with you. Should the president be encouraging Benjamin Netanyahu to just stop?
It's, I think it's a sticky wicket, because let's face it, Israel has one of the best militaries in the world per capita, but they look like we did in Vietnam. It's like they're blowing stuff up, but nothing's happening because they're like bugs under the rock. It's guerrilla warfare. The guerrillas win when they don't lose. So, but the bombings carrying on. They're destroying buildings just to clear fire zones. Maybe it is time for Netanyahu to maybe let's take a break and see what's really going on. But I think it also, I see where the Hamas would use that as an excuse. You could have like their version of the Tet Offensive.
Absolutely.
So where do you draw the line there? So it's just really tricky. But at the end of the day, Israel has been and always will be one of our firmest allies, and we've got to protect their interests. We got to remember they're surrounded by a world that doesn't want them to exist, but at the same time, they have to still play by the rules of civilized world. So it's not a good position for any president to be in, and handling it's just going to be tricky no matter what, because you can't please everybody. I don't think you can please 2/3 of the people with whatever decision you come up with.
Probably so. For ancient history, in the 1972 Munich Olympics, Arab terrorists from Black September attacked the Olympic Village, kidnapped Olympic athletes from Israel, athletes and coaches and that sort of thing. At the end of that very, very long day, well, you're the only one besides me old enough to remember. You're welcome, Mike. At the end of a very, very long day, some of the bad guys were dead, and all 11 Israelis were dead. The prime minister at the time, and I cannot remember, I'm thinking it was Golda Meir, and she got a hold of the Mossad and said, "Oh, that was Menachem Begin. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter." That's a long story too. Anyway, Begin called in the Mossad and said, "Put a squad together and kill every one of these sumbitches." And it took them a decade all over the world, and they killed every single one of them. And this will continue. The bombings will continue until Hamas stops fighting back. Mike Bates, your take.
Right.
Well, there's 30,000 reasons why Israel needs to continue this war. There used to be 40,000, but the IDF believes they've killed 10,000 of them. As long as there's still Hamas terrorists alive in Gaza, this war cannot end. And I think it is disgusting that the President of the United States is demanding even as much as a ceasefire. All that has to happen for a ceasefire is for Hamas to release the hostages and end their hostilities and recognize Israel's right to exist. That's always been the case. Israel doesn't want this war. Israel was brought into this war on October 7th when they were viciously attacked 1,200 Israelis, innocent Israelis, killed by those Hamas terrorists that broke across the border. Israel is 100% justified in doing this, and even being asked to pull punches is disgraceful. They ought to attack until the very last terrorist is dead. Jonathan, I have to disagree with you that they're only breaking infrastructure. You don't have to destroy every single inch of tunnel. There are at least 400 miles of tunnels in Gaza, and it's true that only about 20% of those have been destroyed, but the others have been cleared out. So as long as they're not usable anymore by the terrorists, you don't have to actually destroy all that much infrastructure. So Israel's got a long way to go, and the United States needs to let them do it.
About tunnels, but okay.
Well, hey, every rat has got to have a place to stay. I believe they're still missing. They're still holding bodies as hostages, and there are 6 or 8 Americans who are still in the hostage. And we sent over our tier 1 shooters and looters with both Delta Force and SEAL 6. And I have not heard that they have been turned loose to do their job and get the Americans. Maybe it's an Israeli pride issue. I don't know. Tiffany, what do you think?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was reading reports that about a third of the hostages are dead. That
unconfirmed, though. We don't really know.
Okay,
or a third of the remaining hostages, maybe?
Right, remaining, yes.
Okay, 30
I don't
plus, yeah, okay. It may be.
Yeah, and I will just jump in since it is unknown. One of the reasons that Hamas is saying that a third of the hostages are dead is because they're blaming it on the IDF. They're saying, oh, yeah, we tried to keep them alive, but the IDF indiscriminate bombing of innocent civilians killed them. So we have no reason to believe Hamas. The terrorists are lying. Maybe it's true on that. We just don't know. But the hostages, as far as I'm concerned, and look, I don't make the policy, but they would have to be, in my view, considered already dead because they are secondary to destroying Hamas. And I would say that, by the way, if I was a hostage in Gaza.
Got it. Greg Fink, you're batting cleanup on this one.
I couldn't agree more with Mike. I mean, the entire idea that there's going to be any type of ceasefire that does not end with Hamas just staying out of the way and, stopping the war and putting their guns down and putting their bombs down and releasing the hostages. Anything short of that should not be any kind of ceasefire. I mean, they invaded Israel. They've been, I mean, their whole idea is they want to commit Jewish genocide against all the Jews in Israel, and they want a second Holocaust, and they actually just want to go ahead and finish it. And after they get done with Israel, they want every Jew and off the planet here dead. I mean, they'll go to different countries, they'll go to different areas, and they'll take it, take the terrorism and take the war and everything to other borders. And so, I mean, I don't think that giving into them or giving into their idea. I was watching Jon Stewart last night. He kept on saying that, how do you kill an idea? Well, the whole idea is that Hamas is not a territorial country. It is a philosophical religion of terrorism. And how do you kill that idea? Basically you have to kill the people who are basically the head of the snake that are running all the guns and all the finances, everything else of that religion.
They got 2 out of the 3.
The same way how we got rid of the caliphate, the ISIS and everything else. We destroyed ISIS. Now we need to go ahead and destroy the Hamas and Hezbollah as well.
Israel has managed to kill 2 out of the top 3 leaders of Hamas. They nailed one just the other day in Lebanon. Who knew, right? But the other thing is we've got the Hamas has really picked up a lot of traction on the West Bank, occupied by Israel, originally part of Jordan. And, that's been more than a half a century, and they haven't resolved that property line yet. I don't know. By the way, one more quick thing, because we have time in this segment to jump on it very quickly. Super Tuesday is next Tuesday, March the 5th. 15 states will vote, and my prediction is on Wednesday the 6th, Nikki Haley will say, hey, thanks, I had a good time. Got to go. Anybody?
Yeah, I agree. I think she'll be done after that.
Mike?
It depends on what her financiers tell her to do. If there's still money coming in, she'll stay in the race, but I don't see that money continuing to flow.
I'm thinking yeah, John, go.
I was going to say the Kochs have already backed out on her, so but I mean, I see an end game possibly if she could be last man standing. We talked about this the other day, the unforeseen. I mean, what if Trump keels over before the convention? What if, he has a stroke, and then you've got a Wild West convention that she would already have the votes stacked up for.
No, but she
Um,
wouldn't. But she wouldn't, Jonathan. If
well, you
it
can't
is an
release
open
all the votes. You can only release the votes Trump won.
right, and
If she
Trump will have
rightfully
the
won these
over
votes in the primaries, then she'll continue with them.
no, with a fraction of the vote. It's not even going to be double digits. If for any reason it is an open primary, those delegates can literally vote for anybody they want. And I 100% guarantee it ain't going to be Nikki Haley. I don't care.
All
how
right.
many
When we
votes she
come
goes
back,
into
we're
their
going to
committee.
when we come back, we're going to talk about the Democratic convention, which happens in August. Maybe the most critical day of the year will be August the 19th. We'll do that. The Political Matrix blogcast continues from Florida and Georgia this time around. We'll be right back.